Although there are many legitimate grievances and concerns about the Ebola outbreak and how it's been handled and how the response has been botched by the CDC, the level of hysteria on some corners of the internet in response to this Ebola outbreak in the United States knows no bounds. And now there are thousands of people on YouTube who firmly believe that the fact that the Simpsons mentioned Ebola back in 1997 means that the cartoon predicted the 2014 Ebola outbreak in the United States.
Art, would you like to read a book? No. Would you like to color something? I did.
And the source of this new conspiracy theory regarding Ebola can be traced back to this YouTube account, which is a 15-minute rant by this individual about how, quote, the Simpsons predicted the Ebola virus. And so far it's got 47,000 views and spawned a number of articles in the mainstream media. Which is not to suggest that there aren't many intriguing claims about predictive programming appearing in both movies and television programs. But really, what evidence do we have to suggest that a Simpsons cartoon which mentioned Ebola back in 1997 had anything whatsoever to do with the Ebola outbreak in 2014? But wait, the episode aired on October 19th, which is 9/11 in reverse. Which according to some is a smoking gun because of course they claim the Simpsons predicted 9/11 in this episode, which aired before the September 11 terrorist attacks. And basically that's all the evidence the conspiracy theorists need to affirm that the Simpsons predicted the Ebola outbreak. In fact, here you see comments from YouTube users. Thank you for telling the truth about these things. Thank you so very much for this video. You've done an excellent job on this. Puppets on their strings, they think not. So again, they're obsessing on cartoons predicting events on the future based on the fact that these cartoons merely mention the word Ebola. That's quite a low standard of evidence. And why is this important? Why is this of interest? Because again, it's a reminder how some of the most energetic conspiracy theorists on YouTube will concentrate on the most inane and obscure things which have no basis in reality whatsoever, while largely ignoring the genuine concerns about this Ebola outbreak, such as we reported last week, the fact that unprotected workers were sent with a pressure washer to clean up Ebola vomit from outside of the apartment of the Ebola victim Thomas Eric Duncan. Not to mention the sheriff's deputies and others who were also forced to enter that apartment without any proper protection. As well as stories like this one today about how doctors are desperately calling the CDC to report potential Ebola cases, and around 50% of them are being completely ignored. So I just gave you 3 examples there of genuine issues, genuine concerns about this Ebola outbreak that demand attention in comparison to an obscure Simpsons reference to Ebola from 1997, which instead is causing waves on YouTube. Nearly 50,000 views on one video alone, claiming that the Simpsons predicted the Ebola outbreak based on absolutely zero proof. And we can go back to previous examples of this. For example, Robin Williams, a Family Guy episode that was airing moments before his death was announced. Of course, the episode was a repeat. It wasn't aired for the first time on the day that he died, and it had aired many times before, and yet this was seized upon as bombshell evidence of predictive programming in cartoons, just as The Simpsons is being seized upon to claim that the cartoon predicted the Ebola outbreak. So no, a Simpsons cartoon in which Ebola was vaguely featured as part of a plot 17 years ago does not mean that the creators of The Simpsons predicted the 2014 Ebola outbreak. And there are many more genuine, legitimate, serious concerns about the Ebola outbreak that we should be focusing our attention on. This is Paul Joseph Watson reporting for Infowars.com.